to enter a race and to finish it, knowing that I've worked hard towards that goal and enjoyed it along the way, that's what I mark as success. Hi, I'm Gab. I am a civil engineer and part of the Femmi community. I grew up playing a lot of netball, so team sport was huge for me, and it was something I really held on to even through uni and as I started to work. So I moved around quite a bit for work as well, so netball was always the thing. Like, I could just move to a new place, join a team, and it was something that really kept me, I suppose, grounded, and I think it definitely gave me quite a bit of confidence. I don't think I knew what I was getting myself into when I, was finishing high school and deciding, yep, civil engineering is for me. People told me this was going to be male dominated, but like, this is, 100 boys in a room kind of thing. As an engineer on a site, I suppose you do a lot of the planning and supporting and checking of designs and things like that. So a lot of interactions with tradespeople, which I suppose as a young, small female was pretty confronting when I did enter the workforce the first time. Like, I'd walk onto the site and people would be like, "Oh, is that the cleaner?" or "Is that our tea lady?" kind of thing. And then I'm meant to be checking their work. Like, it's a bit of a power imbalance there. Like, with time, I think the more you're put out of your comfort zone, the more comfortable you get being there. I think that's something that I remind myself of often when I don't feel super confident, or I have to go and tell someone at work they've built it wrong. That's something that I have to do a lot of the time. This one will make the next one better and the next one better after that, and I use that as my motivation and my fuel to kind of keep going. And I think running has definitely given me the chance to practice that skill a little bit, so it's something that I definitely have lent on at work. There's always the reward at the end, whether it's the finish line or whether it's like something being physically built on a site, or hitting a big project goal milestone. So a couple of my friends started doing little Sunday runs and signed up for a fun run, so I started going along to that. I played centre when I was playing netball, so I think running was always the thing that I liked most about sport. And it was just like something that we did for fun. I suppose it got a bit more serious when I moved over to New Zealand for work. Did my first half marathon over in New Zealand and entered a few races for the first time, which was really fun. And then, moving to Melbourne, I moved just before the lockdown. So I think, like a lot of other people, running was something I really lent on in that time. We couldn't do much else. Usually the highlight of the weekend was that 1 or 2 hour, whatever was allowed, run out of the house. So I really lent on it in that time as well. The big goal for me was always, I suppose, hitting that marathon distance, which I was lucky enough to do at Melbourne Marathon last year. I always thought that I would be kind of a one and done marathoner. I would hit the distance and then tick it off my bucket list and then just run for fun as more of a fun runner. But I definitely, I suppose, caught that marathon bug, and recently did the Gold Coast Marathon, which was a pretty big PB. I started coming along to the Femmi run group on Fridays, and the community was just so beautiful and so welcoming. I think that really kind of hooked me in at the start. I was fairly new to Melbourne around the time of lockdown, so I really was drawn to that community aspect, and I suppose making friends and meeting new people. Kind of believe in, things happen for a reason, and things come to you at the right time. And I was, building towards a marathon surrounded by all these really great runners and really great people, and I thought, time to sign up, time to give myself a bit more of a challenge and follow the plan and see what we can do. In primary school, I actually went to a Catholic school, so as you can imagine, I suppose sex education was maybe a little bit different or presented differently. We didn't learn a whole lot, to be honest, about our menstrual cycle, but it was always kind of taught to us as something that enabled you to have children once you were married. Like, it wasn't something that I needed to, I suppose, worry about, at that point in time. If someone did mention it, it wasn't in a particularly positive way, so I was like, well, the less we talk about that, the better. Having a bit more understanding around the cycle and how that changes things really has changed my world with training, and it's given me a bit more grace that your body is going to change over a month, and looking at the bigger picture rather than like obsessing over times and paces and things like that. And I think working with yourself and how you feel and really leaning into that means when you do feel great, you can actually hit it better almost. So the last marathon I did, it was actually day one for me. So in the past, I probably would have had a meltdown over that, like, oh no, this is terrible. But I think just having a bit more education, now it just doesn't really faze me quite as much. The longer I feel like I'm in my body, the more comfortable I suppose you get with it. Obviously I love movement, and I have really thrived on the connections made through Femmi, and having like the girl gang, I suppose, together when I do go to work with so many males. It really has helped me a lot. Having people around you that are like-minded and encouraging, and we're all, I don't know, hitting goals in our own ways. And I think that the community is like a really, really good weekly reflection of that, and it's a really great atmosphere to be around. Women are half the population. I'd love to see a future where being a female isn't a minority at all. I just think that it shouldn't be a topic of conversation. Like, it should just be, it is what it is. Workplaces, sport, you name it, will be a better place for it.